All right, well, we're watching the aftermath of the press conference of Aaron Judge. And I always wonder, why does he need to do a press conference? He's already a Yankee. He's just getting paid a lot more money, and he's going to stay for the rest of his life here.
They won me over, Dibs. He's just so dreamy. I'm just sitting there staring at the television, looking at this big guy. God, I wish I'd just go there and give him a big hug.
There's no press conference that's going to get you another home run or a win. There's no reason for all of this speak. Like, anytime I see Aaron Boone, talk, I just want, I turn the radio off, I turn the TV off.
Rob,
Well, somebody sponsored that backdrop,
Rob, we got the backdrop sponsored, Rob. And, these guys are savages, Rob, and they got to get out there and talk to
That was
people.
one of the stupidest things I've ever heard anybody say.
The
one thing they're not is savages.
Listen, when you get the guy out there, Rob, you put him in front of everybody, you get people looking at him, and, they're like, I want to see him.
You get people hot and bothered, and they want to go buy season tickets.
And then they buy season tickets. They get in the crowd, and they're sitting there,
excited.
Rob. They're excited, and then they're like, hit a home run for us, and then he does, and then what do you know? It was all because of the press conference.
Speaking of which, this has nothing to do with Hot Stove, but did you see what Stephon Diggs did for that kid in Buffalo? And I guess he does this before every game. Got this kid some custom kicks, some nice shoes, walks him over to this kid. The kid's speechless and crying.
I
mean, he is so popular with the fans in Buffalo, and it's so easy for these guys.
Super easy.
Because these kids idolize them. They don't realize it. It's way bigger than me because now, because the networks that I Instagram and some of the other stuff, I don't do TikTok anymore.
Dibs, why?
I just
come back.
I can't do it.
Come back.
Can't do it. Anyway, they're all they do is play these guys' video games. Oh, to me, growing up, I had to watch the game of the week to see Reggie Jackson and the guys I idolized. You had to read the newspapers. You had to listen to the radio.
Mine were baseball cards.
Yeah, and now it's right in front of you. You're like so many kids that I coach now. Literally, after they're done practicing or playing a game, the adults are talking, the kids are sitting down, they're playing MLB The Show. Like they go right from playing baseball to imagining playing baseball, and it's just for them to connect with these kids and keep their dreams and hopes alive. It's very big in this world now. So I think that after '94, the one thing that I learned, and I think all the players with me learned, we had to get the fans back. We had to go out there and reach out to the fans, and I think that the NFL players do a great job of this. I was telling you about the guys they're buying trucks for people that are doing good in the community and things like that. And that's what they should spend more time doing in reaching out and trying to grow the game. Like I told you about the historically black colleges and universities, what they're doing, this all-star game at this year's MLB All-Star game. That's 20 years they should have been doing that. It's about time that you're starting to do that. So I think that you got to grow the next generation. So if anything, if he got a bunch of kids excited, although they're all at school here at this time, hopefully they're excited about Aaron Judge coming back.
This was my Christmas wish for Major League Baseball.
Carlos Correa to the
all
Mets?
sports. No, not that. See, the problem with people like myself, people like Curtis, us fans, us dudes that aren't going to get these $100 million contracts, when we see $315 million, we hear our friend Kevin Kernan say, yeah, see, they've got that money. And it's not just Cohen. They've all got that money. I think about the beers that I buy, the parking I spend, and the jerseys that I don't buy because they're so super expensive that the fan is priced out of the sport more so than any country club I've ever tried to play golf at. Like, it is a weird, exclusive club to go to more than one, let alone a premier seat at a Major League Baseball game. And my Christmas wish is giving a fan, any fan of each franchise, a contract to pay that person to go to the games. Don't have them spend any of their money. You are such a great fan that we need you here. We need your cheers. We need you sitting right there. It's comfortable when you're here, and for some reason, you're our good luck charm. Here is 40, $50,000, $100,000. All you have to do is go to 81 home games to be our fan that we are sponsoring. Now, NFL is trying to get the fan of the year. Each of the 32 teams is nominating their own fan, and there's supposed to be an ultimate fan at Super Bowl. I think that's awesome. We got word from our friends at Travelers that our man Buddy up at the Yard Goats, the goat herder that we love and adore, also helps out with the Travelers all the time, has been the PGA's nominee for Fan of the Year as well.
That's awesome.
That's awesome.
That's awesome.
I just wish Major League Baseball, and like you said, it's easy, man. You don't have to do my idea and give somebody $100G to be the fan of the year.
No, but you could give them season tickets every year.
You could do something.
And I know they do. I know they do with people that are handicapped. I know they do with veterans. I will say this about the Nationals when I worked there. They give away hundreds of tickets to every home game to the guys from Walter Reed and Bethesda, and recognized every home game and make them stand up and get a standing ovation from the crowd. So that they do things for veterans, but they should. I mean, I'm not saying that they shouldn't, and I think everybody should do that
more.
But we're now getting to the point where I think you also need to get kids out of schools. Get them to baseball games. Get them to football games.
That's
get
the
them
investment.
to basketball. That's the investment is our children.
Right.
Because it's not us. Listen, the fans are going to go.
They got us.
They got us. You were gotten 20 years ago.
Yeah.
When your dad took you to your first Cubs game, you were got.
Yep.
They didn't have to keep getting you. But you've got to get a generation that they're playing your video games. They're collecting your baseball cards. They have no interest in going to a game. The one thing I see from some of my closest friends that I love, one of my coaches, a couple of my kids that I coached, they went to a Buffalo Bills game the other night.
They had a blast.
They had a ball. Now, there's a foot of snow on their seats. Didn't care because they were in their snowmobile outfits.
Awesome.
So they were sitting there. They loved it. He's taking them down to Eagles games. My other friends have gone to UConn games. They're getting their kids season tickets to UConn games. I mean, the kids are geeked about UConn football.
Yeah.
And through growing it that way, you're investing in the future of keeping your game strong. Major League Baseball has not done this. Like you heard Kevin say, Giants have lost 1 million fans. It's not just the million fans. It's their kids, too. They're not Giants fans anymore. Now they're like, screw it. I hate baseball. I know there's fans right now. God, when I go to Florida, there's still fans that are bitter that the Dodgers moved to L.A. in the 55. There's people still alive that I've never watched. They're like, I've never watched the game since. I will never watch another game.
I know people in the Carolinas, same thing.
So that's you have to try to cut through that and get to the point where you're like, listen, kids, here's some tickets. We've got extra tickets. You're coming to the game. You go to these children's hospitals, you do more Make-A-Wish things, and you get more kids involved because you have to start growing the game. Listen, these billionaires, they're so far removed. I mean, I think it's a great thing that you're wishing for, but these owners don't care. These owners don't even care about the players. Having sat across a negotiations table multiple times with owners, the owners don't like each other. These owners don't like each other. They don't respect each other. So one of the things like Kevin brought up, it motivated Hal Steinbrenner not to get more fans involved to come to games this year. It's because the owner across the street did something that said it's like, having a coffee shop across from the other coffee shop or a restaurant or whatever, a gas station. We're going to lower the prices because you lowered the prices. We're going to do it because our competition's doing it. I'm not telling you to do it because of that. I'm telling you to do it because in order to save the game, you've got to get your fans back. You're losing fans by the tens of millions every year. And you see it going down little by little with the ratings and how many people are going to games and how many. I've kept my eye on this for the last decade. A decade ago, it was 70 million people were going to games and 100 million people were watching on TV. It's probably about 90 million are watching on TV and about 60 million are going to games. So that's 10 years. You've lost 10 million people going through your turnstiles. That's not good. But Rob Manfred doesn't get that because Rob Manfred is in the elite category with these owners where they don't even like the game. We already brought this whole thing up. He thinks the trophy's a joke. Kevin brought it up. These owners, they play fantasy sports. The first week I was in Washington, the owners, the learners said to me, we bought this team because our kid needed something to do. Can you imagine saying that? And that's what they said to my face. And I'm sitting there, I'm about to do the game. And at the moment, I told my wife, I said, John, I know too much. I don't want to know all this information.
Well,
and that was a lot of my problem. Was it was hard for me not to spit it back out and say, this is how they don't care about the fans. They don't care about the players. They only paid $1 billion for this team to give Mark Lerner something to do. And that's what you see down in Washington. And that's why now you see, Mike Rizzo running that ball club however he feels necessary, because Mark Lerner is he's not really an in-touch owner.
Well, and that's not the case in New York anymore. I mean, before Cohen was getting there, the Wilpons were running it slightly better.
But is it? He's a fan. Is he running it like a fan, or is Steve Cohen running it to win championships and bring respectability back to the Mets?
I don't know yet.
Is he a kid with just too much money?
I don't know yet. He is spending it, though, on his baseball club, and that's what I'll tell you.
$806.1 million so far on the 8 guys he brought in.
All right, there's plenty of guys still left out there in the next couple of weeks to get you a nice little Christmas present for your fan base. And I'll list off a couple of the guys. Now, this is by Fangraphs and ordered by WAR in 2022, meaning the wins above replacement. The highest leftover free agent of WAR, and this might surprise you, Chicago White Sox, Elvis Andrus, still out there. I didn't even remember he went to the White Sox. It's been a long time.
He moved around a little bit.
Texas Rangers, where I know him for the most. He is now 34 years old. Do you want that in your stocking?
No, but a guy I do like is Gary Sanchez.
Whoa! Gary Sanchez at the bottom of this list. A 30-year-old catcher. Minnesota doesn't want him. His WAR was 1.3 yesterday. You say you want him, and you DH the crap out of him. How much are you going to pay him?
I'll pay him $10 million a year.
10 mil?
You're paying Bellinger what, 17?
I'd rather have Bellinger than Gary Sanchez.
No way.
No way.
No way. Gary Sanchez hits higher average and he puts the ball in play more.
All right, what about this oldie Olsen? 37-year-old Evan Longoria still out there. Do you want him on your squad? Who will be
backup role, bench player?
I think he'd be good for your clubhouse.
Yeah, absolutely. Give him a 2-year deal for $15 million.
Here's a guy that you know a little bit about. I do believe he was in the Reds organization. Did not know he was a Chicago White Sox. Josh Harrison can play all over the infield. Probably play the outfield.
Absolutely take that dude.
35 years old.
Yep. 35 is the new 28.
In baseball?
Yeah, you got Justin Turner. How old's Justin Turner? I'm going to say 37.
That's leprechaun years.
Right, John? Do you think he's 37? 38?
38. Wow.
John says 38.
I do like Justin Turner. All right, here's a guy.
And he got a 2-year deal.
Here's a guy I love. I know you love him. He was in Kansas City once again at the end of the last year. His WAR was at 1.9, but should have thrown more. And very old, 39-year-old Zach Greinke. Do you want him?
Absolutely.
Me too.
100%.
Me too. John's pumping his fist in there as well.
Not to take
I think the Red Sox, I think the Yankees, I think a contender would love an oldie Olsen like Zach Greinke. Not going to even mention anything about his clubhouse because he might be great or he might just be.
He's a little bit of an introvert.
He's going to be out of the box as long as he's not pitching. I don't
need to talk to the dude.
Right.
I don't need to be best friends with these guys to want to win. Listen, Tommy Pham's out there. He's 35. I'm taking Tommy Pham. I like the way he played.
A lot of people want Tommy Pham. He can play everywhere. He's a Swiss Army knife. He can play everywhere. Here's one that you Boston Red Sox might pique your interest. Oldie Olsen, 43, Rich over the hill.
Absolutely. Give the ball to that dude. See what he can do.
You were ripping this guy all year last year.
But that's my job is to critique his baseball.
And you want him on the team?
But he knows how to pitch, and he can teach it. Listen, there's some other guys that are out there. Lorenzo Cain is out there. Kevin Pillar is out there. You got some really good guys. Delino DeShields is 29. I mean, that dude's serviceable. Now, Billy Hamilton, I don't know. He got a minor league deal with the White Sox. He's got to start putting the ball back in play. JBJ's out there at 33.
What, you don't want JBJ in your Christmas stocking.
I need his glove out there. No, guy can't hit a lick. He had a minus 1.7 WAR last year.
You guys talk so much crap.
I didn't even know they did. John,
guy.
did you know they did minus WAR? That's incredible that he's got a minus WAR.
You don't want that. That's a bad
Yeah, if you have
thing.
a -4, that's
by
not
the way,
wonderful.
Will Myers almost went to the World Series last year with the Padres, 32 years old. Doesn't want to take ground balls.
Will no thrill Myers.
But Will Myers is out there. I take that guy. Michael Conforto sat last year. I thought that was a huge
What's
mistake.
going on with
He's
that?
30 years old.
But wasn't there a pectoral shoulder situation that we kind of found out about before the Cubs were supposed to sign him?
I take a waiver on that dude. I take him in a heartbeat. I think that guy, left-handed power, protection for somebody in the lineup. San Francisco Giants, why wouldn't you take that guy? Giants suck.
Why haven't the Red Sox re-signed Micah Wacha? 31 years old.
He's one of those guys that's on the bubble. He's looking for a multi-year deal, but at his age, I don't think too many people want to do a multi-year deal. But this is what I told you about. Like 10% of the guys get 90% of the money. That's true. And those, 90% of the other guys are scurrying around to get contracts right now. I mean, as I look at this, J.D. Martinez, 1-year deal. Michael Brantley went back to Houston, 1-year deal. Matt Carpenter, 1-year deal with the San Diego. So these 35s and 37-year-olds, that's all they're getting. Andrew McCutchen is out there. Trey Mancini is out there. Here's an oldie but goodie cheater in hell. Nelson Cruz is out there. Luke Voigt is out there. Jed Lowry is out there.
Nelson Cruz did PEDs. I was wondering. Yeah, that's true.
Justin Upton is out there. He said it was for his hair. Nelson Cruz was worried about his hair. Wanted to make sure it was good hair product.
He's old. He's losing it. Right. So you were telling us yesterday, has this been finalized? Nathan Eovaldi will be.
Nothing's finalized with him. That's what it just. That's some of the stuff. Eovaldi's still out there. 33, had a 6.7 WAR last year. Absolutely, he's got a better WAR than Chris Bassett, and he's younger.
Would you mess with Craig Kimbrell? Do you want a Kimbrell?
Not as a closer.
What else?
Setup guy. And he could help those guys evaluate the hitters. Corey Kluber. I'm taking Corey Kluber. He had a 4.5 last year. Decent pitcher with the Rays. He must, Wade Miley is out there.
Just looking at that. Same with Chad Kuhl. Chad Kuhl from Colorado. I don't know why they haven't.
Oh, my God. Mike, minor leaguer? I mean, come on. 35 years old. Who doesn't want Mike minor leaguer?
You're listing all these guys from the Red Sox that you were totally hating on before they would start.
I'm not paying them.
The reason they're
still
Mike
decent
minor
pitchers.
leaguer is
I'm not talking.
That was the nickname
I'm not
you
talking.
gave
They're not number ones, not number twos. They're number 5s or 6s. They're a guy I could either put in the pen, having AAA as an insurance policy, if they still want to pitch.
All right, here's two guys that I can't believe they haven't
Dylan Bundy's out there. Aaron Sanchez is out
There's
there.
There's a lot of starting pitchers that I would love to put a rotation around. Like I just mentioned Chad Kuhl. I want him. Chris Archer's still around. I know you've fallen off the Archer wagon for a while, but I'm a Luke Weaver
Archer's
fan.
A great comic, little sitcom at night.
I know. It's not the same person.
Adult Swim.
Yeah, it is a good show.
But, Chris Archer, the pitcher, I don't know. I haven't seen him in a while. But I know Aaron Sanchez a couple years ago had some great stuff. So when I say take a flyer on a guy, I mean, listen, minor league deal, come to spring training with the major league team with a chance to win a spot. If you don't, you're good enough to go to AAA. You go to AAA, maybe I've done the same thing at the end of my career. You spend 2 weeks in AAA, AA, or whatever. You show you can pitch in the big leagues again healthy. You usually get called up because, listen, every team is going to have injuries and all kinds of stuff. Kimbrell's a player coach for the bullpen guys. I never really trusted my bullpen coaches. They were too close to the management side of things for me to trust. The other pitchers, the older guys.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
That's interesting. Why? Because they make all the calls and they're like the middleman of the information?
Yeah, but I played with some guys like Jeff Reardon, Billy Shearer, a bunch of other guys that I played with, Carl Willis. And I trusted their judgment on things and other bench players than I did the coaches back then. I didn't even really know the coaches that well. I knew these other guys because I'd come up through the minor leagues. They had been coming down from the major leagues, bounced back to the major leagues. So I trusted their evaluations of hitters a little bit more because they were still active in the game than the pitching coach or the bullpen coach telling me what I should be looking at to try to get guys out.
What are your thoughts on Matt Barnes?
As a person, I don't like him. As a pitcher, I think he's still got good stuff. And again, listen, all right, so if I'm managing these guys, let's just say I'm Bruce Bochy or I'm, Dusty Baker. I sit you down. I go, listen, you got great stuff, but you're an a-hole. And if you want to play on this team, if you're ever in front of the mic or you're around these younger players, if I ever hear your attitude come out, you're done. And I just lay it on the line for the guy. Because, listen, I think with the Dodgers, they had to eat his contract to get Mookie Betts.
You're talking David Price.
Oh, David Price. Matt Barnes. Matt Barnes.
I was going to say, I have no idea that Matt Barnes totally has rubbed Dibble the wrong.
Matt Barnes, no. Matt's a different situation.
I'm glad we cleared this up because Penders usually listens to our show.
No.
Matt,
what the hell are you talking about? Here's the thing I'm saying to Matt. Matt, you got great stuff. You throw 95 with a drop dead curveball. What the hell's your problem? Go out there and throw your stuff and stop doubting yourself. Everybody has doubt, and if I'm a manager, dude, I have doubt every day. I mean, I'm giving that whole manager speech to the guy. But this guy's got great stuff. But once you get in someone's head and you let too many people guide you, you're gonna fail. Those people aren't out there with you. It's you and it's the hitter, and you got to stick it up that dude's you know what. And you can't worry about what you've done in the past. I mean, the first thing I learned, especially when I started to struggle, was you're only as good as your next pitch. It doesn't matter what you just did. It doesn't matter about the guy you just struck out. That doesn't matter. You can't be like pumping your fist and going, oh, that's going to help me with this guy. That guy's standing in front of you, go get him. And he's got to, every hitter, every pitch, regain his confidence to where he gets his job back with whatever team he's on, Red Sox or any team. You want to be the closer.
Kurt says it's time to go, but real quick, what more on David Price being an a-hole?
Oh my God, that guy! I'd be like, don't ever attack another Hall of Famer, because that was your downfall.
Yeah.
Okay. You lost a lot of points with that crap.
That was Eckersley on the airplane.
On the airplane.
Yeah.
You don't mess with Eck.
Forgot about
that. Right, guys? Kurt?
Absolutely.
Listen, I played against Eck. I grew up. I emulated Eck. My delivery is straight Eck.
Your first mustache was kind of like
my first mustache, my first mullet. Whenever I start dyeing my hair, I would be dyeing it Eck color.
But anybody anywhere should never go against a really popular guy in the neighborhood because you're losing your fan base.
Yeah, and that's when he went south on me. I love the dude. I interviewed the guy at the World Series against the Phillies.
Super smart.
When he first came up from Vanderbilt. Yeah. Again, be smart. Sometimes hold your tongue. Trust me. I need to take my own advice sometimes.
Yeah.
All right, we'll take a quick break. We'll come back. We'll talk about, oh, my God, another great person has passed away. This guy is one of my favorite people all time. The Immaculate Reception Man himself, Hall of Famer Franco Harris. We'll discuss him when we come back.